Cruise down the streets in style, meet the wild man of the University of Miami, and get a little bit of gaming culture. All this and more on tonight's episode of LA Real. Hello and welcome to LA Real, the show where we talk with fun and interesting friends about what they do and go to events and venues all over sunny Los Angeles. I'm your host, Rachael Roland, and this is LA Real. First thing we're going to do today is take a look at a local skateboarding company who's taking their line of longboards to a new extreme. What if your skateboard was 6 feet 8 inches long? This Huntington Beach company is designing boards that change the dynamics of performance, bringing the surf culture to places even without water.
Hi, I'm Pete Hamburg. I'm owner and founder of a company called Hamboards, and we make a big surfy skateboard. It's big, handcrafted, hand-signed, really fun skateboard that's unique because when you ride it, it feels like a surfboard. We were playing around with it, not having any idea how to design a skateboard, and we stumbled upon it. And so initially it was just a plaything for my sons and I to goof around with. It started to morph in my mind. It's like, hey, you know what? If we can get this with a surfy enough feel, then I can actually use this as a trainer for my sons. So initially it was just making one for each one of the kids, one for me. My wife actually wanted one, then a neighbor wanted one, and then a buddy wanted one, and then a buddy of a neighbor wanted one. And then, all of a sudden, I'm laying awake at night going, wow, these people want them, and they want them for birthdays, they want them on time. This is like starting to turn into kind of a little bit of a hassle. We found out that the people that made the best wheels in the world, ABEC 11, happened to be in a factory right across town in Huntington Beach. So I was like, okay, great. Everybody keeps telling me I should start a business. I went over to see him. He was on the phone. The kids were bored. They started riding the boards that we brought over around in the parking lot in front of this guy's business. And I see him look out. I see him hang up the phone, and he kind of rushes out and goes, how are you getting these boards to do this? And he rode it for like 5 to 10 minutes. And then he just comes up and he goes, these are amazing. And so, I didn't exactly get the response I wanted. By the time we left, I'd already purchased hamboards.com. It was amazing. It was like, it snowballed from there. It's been a unique developmental cycle for Hamboards. We kind of captured the Huntington Beach surf vibe, which is really true to the core of the product. It's a family of 7 surfers, 5 lifeguards, and this was really something that organically grew out of our lifestyle. And so what we can offer to really the world is a way to go get your surf on. You might be in Fort Worth, you might be in Massachusetts. Gosh, we just shipped a couple boards to New Zealand, Australia. We've shipped boards to Micronesia, Singapore, Finland. And people want to connect with surfing and the lifestyle. And this is actually a way that you can hop on it and you're going to get the feel of what it's like to carve off on a wave. Each one of the boards is hand-signed and numbered. They're all assembled here. This is what we do. We ship them all over the world. We're changing the world one really big skateboard at a time.
If you're looking for a thrill and a wild time, then boy, do I need to introduce you to our next guest. This is Travis. We chased down a young partier whose unbelievable stunt at the University of Miami's biggest football game landed him on the front page of the newspaper and made him an instant celebrity in the local jail.
Shh. Moscow's here. I'm Travis Moscow, the White Russian. Yeah, so I moved to Miami because I had a couple acting gigs and work on my acting career. We came up with the idea that, I should do something crazy and run on the field during a really busy, popular rivalry game, such as FSU-UM. And it was going to be nationally televised, so we were like, this is perfect. Showed up to the tailgate and, hung out with a bunch of the UM students, got them all hyped up, and was just getting crazy, partying, chugging beers, dumping beers on my face. getting pumped up. You know, at one point I was doing beer bong with 3 beers in it and also some vodka mixed in. You know, they had all sorts of drinking apparatuses that only engineers at UM can come up with. After the tailgate, we walked into the stadium, and that's really when it set in. I was like, man, I'm pretty nervous. So I was sitting with 2 of my best friends, Mike and Jeff. You know, they're trying to keep me focused. So right before I was on the field, you know, we walked down to the edge. Jeff says to me, all right, man, I'm going to tell you when to go. And so I said, just let me know. Got out onto the field. This crazy feeling just came over me. Like I didn't even know how to react to it. So I just kind of started sprinting towards the student section, ripped my shirt off. I didn't take my pants off, shorts, because I knew I was going to get tackled, and I didn't want to get any grass stain. Yeah, so I'm running towards the student section with the arm up, pointing. I see the whole student section rise up, and that was when my eyes got big. I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, wait, I got to focus on who's going to be tackling me. So I started looking around. I see this big black lady running at me. I deked around her and then looked back up at the student section trying to pick out some friends. And then before I know it, blindsided right to the ground. Shoulder first. I got turf burn on my shoulder. Pretty much every cop and corrections officer I met was excited about what I did. Even the people that were arresting me were just happy to be arresting me. like they were gonna be celebrity status for it. And then I got to jail and told everybody in there. In the cell, people are chanting Moscow, Moscow, Moscow. Like, I was just so happy. Not happy to be in jail, but happy that, you know, it was going down the way it was. And 14 hours later, I was a free man. I'm not sure if I'll ever do it again. I'd think about it. Moscow's here.
Sure, the outdoors are fun, but every once in a while, I need my video game fix. So what better place than our next point of interest, arcade games? In the Santa Monica area, there's a video game store unlike any other, full of life and personality. So we caught up with the owner to ask him what makes his store so unique.
Well, what I do, I pretty much manage almost everything here. I do all the trade-ins that come in. I do most of the tournaments that come in. I have to know what new games are coming out so I could get pre-orders for people. It's fun doing it. I mean,
We asked Rico why people play games.
I just like games. I don't know. There's something. I guess you could call it, for me, it's like a digital version of books. Each game I see holds a completely different experience from the next. So if you compare your Castlevania games to your Metal Gear games, they're completely different games, but they each do their own thing in a very interesting way. Each one is incredibly unique to the other one.
We asked some of the regulars why they like the store and why they keep coming back.
I like the environment of it. There's passion in here, where in the fact that like Rico, like he actually cares about what he's doing, and you actually you feel like you're really talking to somebody who knows.
What makes this store different from any other place is that this store has soul. Mostly because of the people. You know, the people here are very passionate about video games and the geek culture, and so is the owner, and it shows in the way he decorates the floors and the walls, and the way he puts things out for people. It's just passion that attracts a very large community.
I think it's the way we do things, and mostly because of retro games too. Just pretty much we know what we're doing.
To further enhance the community of the store, Rico regularly holds events in order to bring people together and have fun.
Mainly one of the biggest ones right now is actually Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, it's weird as a game shop we do Yu-Gi-Oh! But it actually has picked up really well. A lot of people have been asking, you know, you should do tournaments, you know. So we actually started doing them, and we've been getting really great turnouts. So that's one of the big things we're doing. We do a lot of gaming tournaments too, so if you want, you can just follow us on our Facebook. We have a lot of gaming tournaments going on.
And they don't just do gaming events, they're also working on a new event.
Right now we're actually focusing on a new event called Movie Night. First movie we're going to be doing is hence the name of the title, Pokemon the first movie. So all the feels will be experienced in here. I tried to make things as unique as possible, and I think it shows. It's like if someone decorated a video game room and then sold all their stuff.
If you're a fan of, video games, this is a great place to come. Not only video games, anime, other trading card games too. If you're just a fan of like Japanese culture, you definitely gonna find a home here.
But it's interesting to see all that, what people really are into or why they do it. I just find that so interesting. I like looking into the aspect of games. That's why I'm a gamer.
Whether it's the people, the business, or how they handle things, one thing is for certain. Arcade Games is the place to be in Santa Monica for your retro games. Stop on by sometime. You'll find Rico there 6 days a week. Now we take an inside look of an up-and-coming new director and his most recent project. Maybe he'll even inspire you to work on something yourself. Like any profession, good filmmaking is all about honoring your skills and trying to make each project better than the last. That's how it is for Roy Arwas, as he now tries to complete his biggest and best project to date, his short film, Silicanth.
My portfolio is going to be called Silicanth, and I will be directing it because I've written it. Well, I'd say that this script is about two widowers who have clashing personalities, and they end up getting stuck together, which provides them with the ability to move on.
It wasn't so bad when I was married.
I really appreciate movie making, and I love the way actors do their thing. Hence the fact that I want to give them the time. If they need to pause, they will pause, and I will stay there, because if it's good enough, the audience will stay there.
I think the production's going very smooth. I think that Roy's going to get what he wants. I think that he's going to be very happy with the finished product. And I think everyone had fun this week, the 6 days that we're going to shoot this, so it was a good set.
Go and he fights me on everything. But, and that's a good thing. It keeps me going, it keeps me trying to, get exactly what he wants.
Roy's great. He knows how to work with his actors and get them to that, the place they need to be.
Roy's director? He's been doing pretty good. We've had a couple hiccups here and there, but overall I think he's handling the situation pretty good. And he seems to be on top of things. Except, of course, for those little hiccups that pissed me off. But they were little.
Scene 9, Alpha, take 4.
We're on schedule right now. We're on schedule every day. Every day we finish earlier, just so you know.
It looks like the gang is really, really focused on doing an amazing job and really wanting to tell a story.
The film come out in a couple months. Should be very good. It's been 6 months of writing. A lot of hard work by everybody. I'm excited for it to all come together. And then after this, just more bigger and better things.
I just want to say I'm having a great time on this set. I love, being out here and working with people that are this on top of their stuff. It really makes my job easy, and it makes the whole thing a great experience.
I always thought that no matter what story it is, if the visuals are amazing, no one will realize the story is shit. I mean, I didn't realize it, but now I realize that this is what I was thinking. And now I'm really trying to focus on story rather than visual effects. Really think about what each dialogue means, what every word means, why the person uses that word. I'm never going to be happy with it until it's done. But even after it's done, I wish I could have done something else. Because an artist's work never dies. It's him, he dies at the end.
I like to think what I wear reflects a little bit of who I am. From our t-shirts to our shoes, what we buy speaks to us. And this group of hatters from downtown Los Angeles, their designs are speaking loud and clear. Hats are making a comeback, and in huge numbers. 2 guys have decided to reinvent leather hats, and what better place than the City of Angels, Los Angeles.
I started this company
At first it was just a joke.
Yeah, Ryan was making custom hats for homies.
And then it actually turned out to be semi-profitable.
We became good friends, and it was a project that we both thought could be fun and we could really do. So we just ran with it.
Shit blew up, you know, the company formed, we got our official LLC, you know, back in 2011.
We use the internet for everything with Daily Doses. I mean, that's our main shop platform. I'm a web developer by training, by profession. So we've been using our strengths in both the leather industry and with websites and, you know, constructing a really strong base out on the internet.
Daily Doses is creating innovative designs using the highest quality materials. This is what separates them from the rest.
When it comes to material, not one supplier has all 100% top stuff. You know, you have to pick through for those gems. When it comes down to it, it's going up to it and actually touching it, you know, taking a close look at it and making sure that it's the highest quality.
So every day I find it a new challenge to like step it up, put a new thing on. You know, we're coming out with top grain Italian leathers, exotics. We're taking it to new heights.
Los Angeles has always been one of the top fashion hotspots. Daily Doses is using this to their advantage and moving to a shop in the Beverly Hills Center called Tradition.
Anybody's not from LA goes to like LA for fashion.
Tradition is a store that carries a lot of established, I guess, urban clothing brands.
Daily Doses has been here probably since we've opened. We've been our 6 month being here. Daily Doses is actually one of the very first brands as far as hats that we brought into the shop.
The whole front of it is the Daily Doses section. It's where you can find our exclusive that you can't necessarily find on our website. We have web exclusive details there, specials.
With Doses, we fit kind of right in here, and now we have a wall out here.
It's real original, it's creative, and I think that's why it pops in LA, just because of the simple fact that everybody's doing their own thing, and it blends right into that, like in our culture, like originality. So
I love it. It's Doses. It's what you are.
It's no secret our environment is growing worse, and without individuals who are willing to help, we seem hopeless. So, our next guest is a man who grew sick of the trash and took it upon himself to create change. For all the people that don't care about the environment, there's one man, Jonathan Lewis, who takes his free time to clean up his local hiking trails in Mount Baldy, California.
The reasons that I come up here and pick up trash is because ever since I was young, I've always had a problem with people just leaving all of their garbage everywhere.
Jonathan does this entirely in his spare time.
This is not my job. This is something I do because it makes me feel better. The word that I get out of coming up here and cleaning up all this trash is not so much of a pat on the back or appraisal from other people. It's the fact that when I come up here, it's cleaner.
Even though this isn't his job, he still tries to come up here as much as possible.
How often I come up here? It's about 2 to 3 days a week. That's if I'm not as busy, but the least I'll do is at least once a week. The amount of trash that I get is about 3 to 5 pounds.
The trash that is left up here is quite damaging to the environment, even the small stuff.
The most harmful thing about leaving trash up here, like say you have a plastic bottle of water and you finish the water and you throw it and it lands into another source of water. While that plastic is sitting in the water, it's contaminating all the water that flows through it.
But there are organizations that do help to clean up the forest and environment.
The organizations that participate in some of the similar activities of picking up trash and doing what they can with their local community to stop littering and pollution, and you can look them up online. They're Greenpeace, Sierra Club, there's several more of them, but those are the 2 biggest ones. The best thing that people can do to help is that when you come out into a forest, mountain range, any sort of area that isn't commonly inhabited by people, is that if you bring trash in and then when you take it out, take more with you. Find something, find an empty bottle of water, find a dropped cigarette butt, an empty pack of something, and just take it out with you. One piece of trash is one less piece of trash out here.
Our next guest takes an interest in recycling as well, but not so much in throwing it away. more as in creating something new.
Being aware about recycling, and I started out doing the idea of that as a child. It came at a very young age. And then as the process continued, I was using like seashells and making candles at a young age, and I was giving them as gifts. And then from there, I got involved with doing paper mache, and then I thought, well, how about taking out the paper and start adding glass with the wire? And then that was kind of the process that evolved as I led into working with glass and wire. Well, where I see my art going in the future is to bring more awareness to kids. I would like to do more talking to different schools, and I've showed them my work, and just bringing that more awareness of recycling and trying to get back into a creative time with your family.
How many of you have had to get your car detailed and found that the service was a little slow or lackluster? Well, fear no more. Our next venue is a body shop that delivers satisfaction on time and in any color you want. California is one of the top 3 car states in the world that utilizes state-of-the-art technology when it comes to repairing cars. Today, we're visiting a body shop just off the Central Coast that uses such equipment.
Hi, my name is Steven Guerrero. I work for Mainline Auto Body. We repair damaged cars. My position here is an automotive refinishing technician. We assign it to a body man. He does his repairs, sends it to the paint. Today we worked on a Subaru WRX. The car was brought to the paint department. We came back, we sanded it, got it masked up, put it in the booth. It's bagged for protection so we don't get dust or any contaminants on the car. Go retrieve the paint code. We open the door, and in the door jam, the code is there. We put a color matching camera on it.
This camera, known as The Prophet, has increased productivity and customer satisfaction by 75%, thanks to this form of color matching technology.
I spray with a SATA 3000 digital RP gun, like one of the top of the lines finishing equipment. It's about a $750 spray gun. We do a comparison, we check our test panel to the car, and if the color is close, we'll go ahead and spray that on the car. It goes through a primer process, and then it gets refinished, comes back to the detail department. We check it for dust nibs, any additional polish work. Once we're done, it goes through a final inspection, comes back to the finish line where we have a light system that comes down so we can really take a good look at the car.
These lighting systems have a color temperature of 6700 K. It is the closest anyone has come to duplicating in a fluorescent tube the sun and sky quality of outdoor light.
Once everything looks okay and it's QC inspected, customers called and pick up for delivery.
All of the anxieties I had bringing the car in, they answered all of those questions before I ever had a chance to ask any questions in my head. And they just did it. You can see it's a beautiful job.
Well, that's our show tonight. I'm Rachael Roland, and thanks for tuning in to our first episode of LA Real. Hope to see you again.